Welcome back, everyone, to the 32nd century of Star Trek. This is Star Trek Discovery Season 4. This is the first time we're going to be talking about Star Trek Discovery. Myself, of course, you know me, Brandon T. McClure of the Fake Nerd Podcast, and I'm joined with Michael Karls of the Fake Nerd Podcast. Sorry, you're just wearing the shirt. The Downright Nerdy Podcast.
I feel like we've been doing Star Trek stuff for so long. I feel like an unofficial, fifth wheel to your to your car.
You might as well be.
Car.
You might as well be.
Thanks for having me, buddy. Always happy to talk Star Trek with you.
I always love talking Star Trek with you. Cookie is not here. He is taking a break from podcasting. He has an open invite for whenever he wants to be on. But this is Star Trek Discovery Season 4. So far, Mike, we have done Fake Nerds Watch for Star Trek Picard Season 1 and Star Trek Lower Deck Season 2. We have not done any for Star Trek Discovery. So you want to give some initial thoughts on what you think of the first 3 seasons of Discovery? Just kind of catch everyone up?
Actually, for those of you that are listening and watching, this isn't those things that you've mentioned just now isn't even the only Star Trek we've actually talked about. We also talked about Star Trek The Next Generation every single season in all the TNG movies over on my channel, which this guy right here, DNP. But yeah, either way, Star Trek Discovery Seasons 1, 2, and 3. I feel like we've had this type of conversation before, where I make the case that most good Star Trek, they don't really start to even get into their groove until maybe season 3 or 4. Mm-hmm. I felt like that with DS9 and with Voyager, both with the additions of Michael Dorn and 7 of 9. This is the 4th season of Discovery, and I thought that I have a love-hate relationship with season 3. Mm-hmm. Being like, I love the jump to seasons 1 and 2 take place 10 years before Kirk. Mm-hmm. And seasons 3 and 4 is a time jump that takes place far into the future. I'm not sure exactly when, but the furthest
is the furthest point in Star Trek canon.
Exactly, but
it's past the temporal Cold War.
Right. So the Federation is pretty much decimated by a reason, which the reason being
it's dumb.
It's a very dumb reason, but I like the concept that the Federation has gone and they have to rebuild. Mm-hmm. And they have Michael Burnham, not captain yet until this season.
Yeah.
But she's essentially the savior of the Federation, and I thought that was fitting, and I thought it was fun. Mm-hmm. But I mean, overall, I see steady improvement over the first 3 seasons. I feel like there was more of a peak character-wise in season 2, and story-wise it's 50-50 just because of that one thing in season 3.
Which thing? We can do spoilers. This is season 4.
No, the thing we just talked about, the
burn.
Yeah, the burn with all the dilithium on all the ships just exploding. But the reason, I mean, I don't mind that, but I just don't like the reason as to how they all exploded. Yeah. Like what's Saru's
Saru's species? Kelpian.
Kelpian, yeah. I mean, the dude gets super angry and like it magnifies him because he's on this dilithium planet now, and it somehow just reaches to the farthest ends of the galaxy. It just doesn't make any sense to me. I mean,
yeah.
You put Geordi LaForge there, I guarantee he'd figure something out in about 5 seconds.
Yeah, I have a love-hate relationship with Discovery just in general. My biggest problem with Discovery are the characters. I don't quite think the characters work. I find a lot of them serve the same role. Like, you know how Star Trek: The Next Generation, all the Star Trek shows, the classic Star Trek shows, every character serves a specific role on the ship and a specific role as far as the dynamic of the characters of the crew. Star Trek Discovery has a lot of characters that serve the same role on the ship and in the crew.
Honestly, just to piggyback off that, I think the only people that, when I said that earlier, the characters I thought were the best in development in season 2, I'm really only talking about Michael Burnham and Giorgio and Booker. Booker.
Booker?
No,
Who's
not
Booker?
Not Booker.
Who are you talking about?
Who? The
Oh,
Book. Yeah, just Book.
Yes, the new guy. Book.
Why did I say Booker? Who's Booker?
I don't know. I think the show peaked in season 2 for me because of Captain Pike. I had a big character problem in season 1, and so when Captain Pike walks off the transporter pad and he's a fully formed character with a different dynamic and is suave, I'm like, hell yeah, character, sweet, I'm into this. Which is why I'm super stoked for Strange New Worlds. But season 3, I thought it was a really cool idea going furthest into the future because Discovery always has a tricky place in its in canon that I think it was smart of them to just jump away from all of that. We're not even going to worry about canon anymore. We're just getting furthest into the future.
They're creating canon at this point.
They're creating canon at this point, and I think that was really smart. And I don't quite think the story that they were telling in the 3rd season was as impactful as I think the writers wanted it to be. Ultimately, though, I think the show remains a consistency of fine. And sometimes you get some great episodes, like Unification 3 in the last season. I thought was pretty great, honestly, because it served as a surprising 3rd part to a 2-part episode in Next Generation, and I thought that was pretty cool. But ultimately, I think most of the time it's fine and it doesn't get too bad, and it doesn't always hit great, but I think I admire it for its consistency in its fine place. But that said, we're now in season 4. Michael Burnham is now captain of the Discovery. The uniforms are a lot better.
Yes, they are.
Thank God. It's weird seeing these guys in the classic primary colors.
I know, right? It almost didn't feel like right.
Right. Stamets is in blue. Stamets is in blue. And I was like, wait, I thought you were the engineer. What happened?
I didn't quite understand that, but I mean, who knows?
Well, I guess he's the science officer, but like everyone's a science officer on this ship. So like, I don't get it. Whatever. Anyway,
yeah,
they're in the classic primary colors. It's great. Oded Fair is back. He's not in it for long, but thank goodness he's still there. I love that character.
I liked his little bit too with his family. That was
good. That was sweet. And mostly I think this episode succeeds as one of the better episodes of Discovery and a pretty strong opener, all in all. But let's get into it. What did you think about this episode?
So this is titled the Kobayashi Maru.
The Kobayashi Maru.
I mean, so spoiler alert. I mean, I kind of went into it thinking like, okay, there's gonna our crew is gonna face some sort of Sophie's Choice type of challenge where they're essentially going to lose, right?
The no-win situation.
The no-win situation. But like starting out, Michael Burnham is addressing the first academy since the burn, and she you can tell she doesn't have a knack for politics, but she seemed genuinely pleased with the president's speech about giving her crew props and things like that.
I like that president. I like that girl. The president's pretty cool.
Yeah, I thought she was fine. I mean, I didn't. I felt like she was a predictable character.
Everyone in Discovery, whenever you meet a new character in Discovery, ever since Lorca, you always kind of expect the shoe to drop, and I think they play off of that a lot.
Maybe, yeah.
Like maybe I'm looking at the president. I looked at Admiral Vance in the last season. I'm like, when are you going to be the villain?
Yeah, well, I mean, he would play a really good villain. He has played good villains.
Yeah, but I don't want him to be the villain. I love him too much.
Yeah, I don't think he will be.
No, but I think the president will be.
Yes.
I don't trust Cardassians. I'm sorry, I don't trust Cardassians.
Is that what she's supposed to be?
She's half Cardassian.
Okay, I'm like those head.
It's the spoon. It's the spoon in the head that you can see.
It wasn't very pronounced, but okay. But she, the president. Speaking of the president, she decides she wants to get her hands dirty and join the mission to go save this
space
science special in distress.
It's a space dock, right?
Or is a space dock? A distress signal, right? And Michael Burnham hesitates, but reluctantly she has no choice, so she brings her,
It's the
and
president.
huh?
It's the president.
It's the president. I mean, you can't say no, right?
Yeah.
And tough choices are made, and she takes huge risks with herself, leaving the bridge, with the taking chances of saving of risking the many to save the few. Um, and it works out, but the president believes that is reckless, even though that she's succeeded with every turn. That doesn't mean that the risk that she's taking is not dangerous risks, right?
Yeah, she still lost people in the mission.
Right. And we do get a little bit more background on what Starfleet is kind of up to. Apparently, they're making a newer spore drive. They're making new
smart
upgrades. Yeah.
The idea of trying to doing like a 32nd century version of the spore drive is pretty smart, especially if the Federation. So this is where Discovery kind of lost me last season. There was only brief talks about like the temporal accords that prevents time travel. Like time travel is illegal in the 32nd century, and there's only brief talks about that. And I kind of wish that they had really like connected those dots, because if you're a Star Trek fan, you know that by the time of the 30th and the 31st century, the Federation was exploring space and time. They were time travelers. We've seen them in Voyager. We saw them in Enterprise, the temporal Cold War, famously, with Enterprise J. So by that point, I kind of wish that we had gotten to the point of like, why are we still doing the dilithium thing? Why are we just now looking into other forms of travel if we've been traveling through time for 200 years? Like, there's the confusion that I have of like, oh, now we have a spore drive. Well, shouldn't you have had already more advanced systems of travel at this point? And I don't think their contrived reason is reason enough. But it is nice to know that we'll probably get to see maybe a safer version of the spore drive, because that is in the last time we saw it really explored. It was revealed that it wasn't very safe.
Yeah, I don't really recall exactly what the exact terms were, but yeah, that sounds about right. But it was interesting that the president said that they were going to, the first ship that they were going to outfit it with would be the Voyager.
Voyager J.
Now it's not the same. Obviously, it's not the same Voyager as the one way back when, but we haven't really gotten a really good close up glimpse at the Voyager, have we?
No, the Eagle Moss figure came out recently, which just gave us our clearest look of the Voyager J. It's a Janeway class, though.
Mm-hmm.
There's also the USS Nog, which is out there, which I thought was fun. Yeah, I like the Voyager. The Voyager J is a cool ship, and I really like that it's the first ship we see in the Archer space dock. I'm a sucker for Enterprise, so hearing that Archer's theme play, I was like, oh baby. I just thought that was great.
It was good.
There's not a whole lot of like Star Trek Easter eggs in this episode, though.
No, not. Oh, I mean, kind of. I mean, if you want to, the destruction of Quazon is very
Kazon
is very reminiscent to the destruction of Romulus.
Sure.
Some unknown entity, or maybe.
I mean, if I gotta pull at strings, I'll pull at strings.
Yeah.
But there's no Easter eggs.
Yeah, no,
yeah,
no
Thank
real
goodness.
Easter eggs.
Thank goodness we got rid of Kazon.
Book's homeworld and his entire family get killed and destroyed because of some unknown. We don't even know what it is, so it's just an unknown thing, right?
It's a distortion. We only know it as a distortion, and we see it in the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we don't know what's causing it or where it came from.
What's her name? What's the redheaded girl's name?
Tilly.
She described it as like a lens distortion.
Yeah.
Right? right? And I don't know. I thought that was a fun callback to Abrams because everything with him is just lens flare and all that stuff.
Yeah, I will say one of the things I appreciate about this first episode is in the last season, I kept getting very frustrated that there was no clear bridge hierarchy. And in this one, it felt like there was finally. Like we kind of got like the
I think
bridge.
that was forced though because of the president being there.
Well, no, but like I appreciate that the bridge crew has constantly been trying to get more action because the show is so focused on Michael Burnham.
Yeah.
And I think that this is the first time where I kind of felt that the three main bridge crew, the Asian dude, the Oo, and Detmer,
yeah.
Detmer, it felt like they had finally kind of become fully fledged characters that didn't quite feel forced, because I do kind of feel like they were forced in the last season, but this time it felt a little bit better.
To be quite honest, all those secondary characters still to this point, I am not fully like emotionally invested in any of them.
I get it.
You know, I mean, like Tilly and what's the young engineer's name?
Adira.
Like, I mean, when they were, so there's a scene where they go to help the space station or what have you that's in distress, and they retrofit one of these escape pods, but they can only, there's a maximum occupancy. They can only send it out, and it has to come back. And Tilly, Adira, and the other commander or whatever of the crew, they stay behind. They have this conversations like, "Oh man, you know, I haven't been home in so long. I'm going to go home and you know, whenever I get out of this." And there's, I thought to myself, like, they make it out. The captain dude or the commanding officer dude, he doesn't make it. But I thought to myself, like, if Tilly or Adira died in episode 1 of season 4, would I care that much? I don't know if I would. I mean, it would be it'd be ballsy as hell for Discovery. I think I would have more respect for Discovery moving forward if they did something like that, you know, just, you know, and then just have the crew have to deal with something like that for the rest of the season, like right when Burnham becomes captain, and then like she actually makes a decision that kills one or two of the most beloved crew members amongst the crew, and then they have to take orders from her for the rest of the season. That would be interesting, I think.
I definitely see what you're saying, and I'm only going to agree with you on one point, because I actually don't think killing Adira would be smart. Their story arc is still very much young, and I think it needs to progress further. Tilly worn up her welcome with me about 3 episodes into when we met her, and I never cared about her ever, and I don't like her. I find her very annoying.
I liked her in the mirror episodes.
Those are fine. It got very frustrating.
Character,
right? It got very frustrating to me, especially in the last season when she became first officer. And I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
Yeah.
Like, I still think at the end of this season she's captain of the Discovery, and I'm gonna flip. I don't. If they had killed that character, props.
But then I thought to myself, like, okay, well, insert character X, right?
Sure.
Other than Michael Burnham or Book, like the 2 main characters.
Yeah.
Or Saru, even. Actually, I just minus Saru. Everybody else, Stamets, the chick with the one eye,
Detmer.
Detmer. You know, any of them, I don't care.
Yeah.
I mean, they're gonna make like one. They're gonna have their you know, their Wrath of Khan, you know, sending Spock off in a coffin moment. But other than that, I'm like, okay, we got a Federation to save.
What do you think would help those characters?
Oh, more the same thing that so you only have 10 episodes per season, right? Roughly.
I think we're doing 13 this season. I don't know though. They filmed
1,
during the
2,
pandemic.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 episodes. 13 episodes. You're right.
Okay.
So 13 episodes. That's not as much time because, I mean, when you look at TNG, DS9, they had 20 plus episodes per season.
Yeah.
Right. They could afford to spend an entire episode on Data, an entire episode on Geordi. Like, I'm not saying you have to do that with every individual person, but take some notes from Lower Decks. Here I go again. I know I'm talking about Lower Decks, but take some notes where you separate the crew into these two things and they have to work together and then they have to flesh out their own characters from time to time, right? I think that's what needs to get done. Like, you need to put these people in situations where they're forced to step out of their comfort zone, because that's how the audience, I think, is that's how they connect to characters, is when they're doing things and they try to work through these problems. That's the thing about Star Trek. Like, Star Trek is it's meant to hit home, right? That's what Gene Roddenberry always had. Like, Star Trek, I mean, you could take space out of it and it was just people trying to work out problems. You know what I mean? And I think that, I mean, if that's what I think makes good character building, is when you get the audience to relate to the characters that they're watching.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think you run into the issue with Discovery because it is a show that is built around one character. They quickly for their credit, they do try to expand on other characters, but they always have to go back to Michael Burnham because the show is built around Michael Burnham.
And that's the same problem with Picard.
Yes.
Same exact problem.
Although I like the characters more in Picard.
Well, of course, I mean,
there's less of them.
Picard, I mean, he elevates everybody around him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I also just think outside of Raffi, those characters are more interesting and engaging than these. A lot of the time when we there's not a character on Discovery that I can't describe as scientist or Starfleet.
Got it.
And there's not, but I can describe. I forgot the captain of Picard. What's the guy's name? The guy who owns the ship. Rios.
Thank you.
Rios. I can describe Rios. He's a drunk. He's cocky. He's full of himself. He's insecure. I can throw these out.
Two-dimensional though,
right? But I can throw out character. I can throw out character beats. I understand those things. While yes, being two-dimensional, there's still more there to chew on as a character. Whereas, okay, describe Owo.
I can't even picture.
Right. Describe Detmer.
She's the cutie with one eye.
That's not a character.
It's not a character, but that's all I can give you.
Right. The most that Discovery has given us to their side characters are Stamets, Tilly, unfortunately, and Saru.
And Adira.
And Saru.
I feel like Adira got some too. Not as much. Not as much. But I mean, everybody can see what they're trying to do with Adira, but it's if you don't give Adira the same amount of character building that you do with Saru or you do with any of the other main characters, I think you're doing her doing the disservice.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
I agree.
And I think it's more of a slap in the face than anything.
I think that going back to the issue of like just Star Trek struggles on Star Trek Discovery's biggest struggle is that it's so centered around Michael Burnham. And quite honestly, I don't think Michael Burnham is a strong enough character to lead a show, especially a show in a franchise that has always been an ensemble show. And I think if you were going to go straight into the idea that we're not doing an ensemble anymore, we're doing a show about this one character and how they're destined to save everything forever, then that character needs to be really strong. But for example, when we're in the fight sequence with the butterflies and she's talking to Book and she's doing the banter, I don't give a shit. God, I don't find any of that banter interesting.
No, me either. But man, those butterfly people look terrible.
They look pretty bad.
They were terrible, dude.
for a show that has a astronomical budget, because Discovery has a big budget. those
And
things
that's what they came
should
up
have looked
with?
better.
Some low budget, looking like Sci-Fi
I'll tell
Channel
you
kind
what,
of
though.
butterfly people?
I'll tell you what, though. When they were just standing there and the butterflies over their eyes, I thought that was pretty intimidating. And then they started flying, and I was like, oh, well. All right. Well,
Dude, the butterflies
you
weren't
lost it.
intimidating, bro.
No, when they're just like standing there and like you just see the eyes glowing, I was like, that's pretty cool. And then they started flying.
Well, I wasn't a big fan.
That's fine.
I do. I'd like to talk, just touch a little bit about ship design.
Mhm.
You know how they have the nacelles detached, right? They're free floating.
Yeah.
I love that look. I
Do
think it's
you?
so cool. And then like what is the term they use where it morphs and then comes back together? You know what I mean? There
Oh,
was a term
the
that they use,
programmable matter.
something like that. But I thought that there was
Yeah.
like a shorthand version that Book
I'm
used one time.
I'm really I don't I talk this is more of a season 3 problem than a season 4 problem. I don't like magic technology. When it gets to I have a this is a great example. You know how Infinity War has Iron Man with like he no longer has like a suit anymore. It's just like nanites.
Hmm.
I hate that shit. I hate nanites because nanites have become nanites and sci-fi have become such a catch-all for just like nah,
Starting in Star Trek.
we're just doing it. We're just but like it was never quite what it's become because it's now become a crutch for science fiction writers to just be like, oh, we can just make anything, whatever, blah blah blah. I don't find any of that interesting. So like Book's got this control panel that's just nonsense and looks like a replicator from Stargate. And his ship is not attached to anything. And I'm just like, this doesn't really do anything for me because I don't feel that it's feasible in reality. It just feels like
I hate the design of his ship too.
yeah, it's pretty ugly.
It looked like just like an obtuse triangle, you know. It's just,
Yeah. But have you ever seen Stargate SG-1?
of course.
Yeah, you know the replicator ships that have all the blocks and everything.
Gosh, yeah, I have seen it. It's just been years. I don't remember.
Let me see if I can
Let
jog your memory.
me research.
Yeah, remember the replicators, the like little spider things, and the robots that killed Asgard. I think they killed Asgard. They were kind of flood-like, honestly. If you go into Halo.
Oh, okay, yeah. I see what you mean. I remember this.
Yeah, that's what the technology on Discovery on like the console technology on Book ship looks like to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I just think it's ugly.
Man,
I like consoles, man. I like knowing that, like even holographic consoles. I don't care about holograms. Holograms look cool. I just don't want. I don't want your comm badge to give you a phaser out of nowhere. I don't want your comm badge to. I don't want your like console to form like towers and whatnot for you to have to go to warp. Show me a holographic interface. I don't care. I just don't like the nanite shit. It doesn't feel real to me. It doesn't feel like it's ever feasible because it just feels like magic. And I don't think Star Trek should ever go into magic.
Yeah, I mean, if they were to even throw a little bit of Star Trek jargon in there, you know, like what Geordi used to always do when trying to explain what's going on with the warp core, I mean, that would even be fine for me if they were to do that.
And like, how do the warp engines? How does the nacelles not go without the ship?
I think I don't know, but you know what else bugged me today in this episode?
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. There's another thing that bugged me when the distressed space station is in some weird axis free floating. I mean, wouldn't the number one thing be like, hey, can we try to get a tractor beam on this thing and slow it down?
I also said like, why don't we get a tractor beam on that thing?
I mean, but no, they have to like somehow match the speed of the thing, and they have to use their shields to go around it, and I'm like I feel like there's a simpler way.
Right. It's the same. It's the Star Trek 9 storytelling of like, can you get me into the moon of Saturn? Why? Because that's the only way we can sneak up on Earth. All right. And you know, like it's that shot where it's like Chekhov. All right, Chekhov, like blah, 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 and then they warp into the moon of Saturn, and then they fly up, and it's a beautiful shot. I won't deny it's a gorgeous looking shot, but like it makes no sense. There has to be an easier way to just get there. It's the same thing.
Yeah. What about you? What other nitpicks do you got with this?
Well, truthfully, I don't really have too much in the way of nitpicks. I think overall this episode provides a stronger premise for the season, and I hope it does pay off, because I think Discovery always has the potential to get really good, but they can never get there, and I do think it's a character problem, and I hope that they finally can fix that.
Yeah. We didn't talk about Saru yet. He's down on his planet. It has changed a lot since last we saw it.
Mm-hmm.
And
they're coexisting with the Baul.
Yeah. What it appears is that they made him an elder.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense. He's like 1,500 years old.
True. Yeah, but you know, it's interesting because like he volunteered to take that other dude to Kaminar
mm-hmm.
to you know, find family or to learn the ways of his people. But he hasn't been there in 1,000 years, and it's like, well, you got a lot to learn too, man. You know, and then like at the very end of the episode, he's contemplating. You know, the other dude pretty much convinces Saru to be like, "Hey, I know you still long to be on Discovery. Go ahead and go." I'm like, well, that was quick.
Yeah,
know?
it's the same. It's the same issue that I have with there's crew members of Discovery that are consulting on other ships.
Mm-hmm.
It should be the other way around. Why are you making your 23rd century crew talk to 32nd century crew about what exactly? What are they consulting on? So your science is way more advanced than anything they saw. Your ships are way more advanced than anything they saw. What are we doing? Are you just Are they consulting on how to be like we were in the 23rd century? That's the only thing that I can think of. I don't get why we're doing this.
Yeah.
Why is this crew like if Picard went to the 35th century and they were like, "Yes, Captain Picard, come over here. Tell me how to captain my 40,000-year-old starship." Picard would be like, "You're an idiot. Teach me how to do this."
Yeah, and that's why Captain Picard's the best captain ever.
But like it doesn't. It's the idea that this crew is the best, or this captain is the best. Like we're the best that ever were, and we're the best that Starfleet ever forgot.
Yeah, I mean that's a great point, because there are no other. It appears that there are no other crews. Like there's a Voyager J. There's a bunch of other ships. Like we never get to see any other crew.
No, we don't
at all. You know, I'm like, well, what? I mean,
we see a lot of captains, though. Also, I have a lot of questions about the holographic ship that we saw last season. I have a lot of questions about the holographic. There's a holographic starship, and that was in their space dock, and I was like, how does that even work? Where's the holo emitters?
Well, yeah, what was the purpose of it?
I don't know.
Oh,
it was a ship seemingly made out of just holograms.
Huh.
And I was like, what are we doing? What are we doing there? Where are the emitters? Is it just a bunch of emitters flying around?
Well, maybe they're on the. You said it was on a space dock, right?
It was docked at the because last season they were in this kind of like bubble of space.
It's on that ice cream cone shaped type of space station.
Yeah. Yeah. I just have questions. Yeah. I hope this season we get more of the other crews. I would like to see the interiors of. I know they're expensive to build, but like I would like to see the interiors of other.
I'd like to see them working with some of these crews too.
Like, yeah, me too.
It's a cop out, where when Discovery is the only ship that could spore jump or go to black alert or whatever it is they do, right? And because it just X's out any other starship that's willing that is able to help. And
I got it. Like I got the contrivance, but now we're past that. Every ship in the fleet now has dilithium. Let's see some ships.
What's bizarre is that, like, you're right. I mean, like, their crew, like, yeah, I understand keeping that crew together because they came in very odd circumstances, but throw in a couple of other like current 32nd century people
There
in
should be
there.
people consulting on that ship.
Yes, I mean, like for example, if they were to go to some some random planet and they're like, oh, actually we're at war with these people or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like that would be good information to know that maybe a computer can't.
Right. And it's like, are they consulting on like how to be explorers or whatever? Like I can kind of understand that, but how is that more than you just go to that star and you take some samples and you interfere if you think it's right because the prime directive be damned.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like whatever. I don't know. Ultimately, I like the show. It's not. I don't think it's a bad show. I wish it was better.
So far, I mean, like I think through season 3, I've thought the same as you. Like it's fine, but if it doesn't flesh itself out in season 4, I'm gonna consider this on the downhill. And then by season 5, if it's still bad, I'm gonna consider it a failure.
Yeah, I'm kind of the opinion right now that I want to watch all the Star Trek shows. I got Paramount Plus. I feel like I just got to keep watching them all to make it worth it.
Do it, dude. Yeah. I mean, when was the last time you watched them all the way through?
Yeah, that's true.
It's been years, right?
Star Trek Strange New Worlds.
The last time I watched every single Star Trek all the way through was, I think, in 2011 or 12.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2011 or 12. I watched. I started with. So I went back. So I did TNG, DS9 Voyager. Then I went back and did TOS, and then I went to Enterprise, and then that's when the movies started coming out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like Discovery all in all. I think this is a solid first episode. I like the emotional stakes that we've settled on with Book's planet being destroyed. I think that works, and I hope it pays off.
What if he turns into a Nero?
What if Nero comes back?
He can't come back.
Yeah, he's time traveling. We don't know where the red matter went to.
The 30 seconds thing first, and then went back to go kill Kirk's dad.
No, the red matter at the end of Star Trek 09. Like whatever, you can make the case that it's like, but did it?
It did. Yeah, you saw pieces of the ship.
Yeah, I get it, but like, did it?
Oh, jeez. Well, no, then you know what? Then I think Book is just going to go back to Earth and just find a nice RV to just park somewhere in the desert and just live out the rest of his days because he chooses to do so.
Thanks for joining us, guys. It's been great. I hope that this season we see more of the 32nd century. I hope we see more of I hope we see more of the Federation ships. I hope we see more about the state of other species in the 32nd century, like the Romulans or the Klingons. I know we're getting a Ferengi. Like, I think this show gets so far up its ass sometimes that it forgets it's a Star Trek show. And if you're doing a Star Trek show, then every now and then you got to throw a Star Trek fan a bone and be like, "Hey, here's here's a familiar thing, what's changed." Like last season when we got the Romulans and the Vulcans are unified now, but it's a tenuous piece. Like that was really cool. Yeah, just show me Klingons. What's happening with Kronos right now?
Yeah, no idea.
And I think that'd be cool. And I hope
they don't. I hope they make the Klingons look like real Klingons.
Oh man,
please.
Well, the way they redesigned those Ferengis, I don't have faith.
Yeah, I know.
Those Ferengis are like ugly.
They make them look like they're just covered in baby oil too. Like they're so shiny.
I know.
It's like they hung out with Arnold Schwarzenegger back in his day when he was bodybuilding. It's just like, hey, let me get more oil under the.
Someone needs to
get that nice lighting.
Someone needs to take some of that prosthetic budget away from Discovery because they use way too much of it.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know what they're going to do then? They just vomit more CGI on you, more of your CGI consoles, more of your CGI everything else.
You know what? The CG is pretty good in the show, all in all.
It's fine, yeah. Yeah, I like it.
Those space scenes look pretty good.
Yeah.
All right. Let's call it there then.
Let's call it. Yeah.
All right.
Overall, thumbs up for the first episode. I think I agree.
I think so.
I think I agree. Maybe not 2 thumbs up, maybe like 1.5. 1.5 thumbs
yeah,
up.
1.5 thumbs
I'll
up.
take
It's
1.5.
I am hopeful for the rest of the season. You know, I've been watching a lot of animated Star Trek, so it's nice to have a live action Star Trek on the air right now.
Still not as good as Lower Decks. I don't think it ever will be, but all right, we'll see. We'll find out.
That's true. Not as good as Lower Decks. Lower Decks is something special.
It is.
Star Trek fans should be happy that Lower Decks exists.
Yeah,
all right.
I think they are. Yeah.
So that'll do it. So that's the first episode of Star Trek Discovery, Kobayashi Maru, season 4. Stay tuned. We'll probably try and do this every week.
Yeah. Next week, it's called Anomaly.
Oh, we're gonna figure out what the anomaly is.
Maybe.
Maybe. We'll figure out what's doing it, and then in a couple of episodes, we'll figure out why.
You know what I bet too? I just want to throw this out there. I bet you the first. I don't think it's any mistake that the first episode is titled Kobayashi Maru. I bet you by the end of the season, she's gonna have to make a difficult decision.
She always has to make a difficult.
I know,
decision.
but I think it's going to be a decision that will cost the life of somebody that she cares about.
Please be Tilly. Please be Tilly.
I think it's going to be Book.
Oh, I like Book.
I know, so do I, but I think it's going to be him. I mean, he doesn't have much to live for now.
That's true. All right.
Cool.
Better not be Grudge. Don't kill that cat. All right. So that'll do it. So hey guys, Fake Nerds Watch is back. At least for Star Trek Discovery. We'll hopefully have a Hawkeye Fake Nerds Watch series going concurrently with this. There's some things going on. If you watch the latest episode of our show, we talk about it. But yeah, so we'll try and get that going. But this is independent of that. As long as Mike's available or even Cookie, we'll get an episode of Fake Nerds Watch for Star Trek Discovery out. So Mike, why don't I pass the buck off to you? Why don't you pitch your stuff?
Well, what stuff do I have? Downright Annoyed with Movies. We didn't have to do one this past week. Had some scheduling conflicts, but we are going to watch it review a movie this upcoming weekend, weekend after Thanksgiving. It's called Hush. It's directed by Mike Flanagan, same guy who directed
Hill House
and Midnight Mass. Speaking of Mike Flanagan and Midnight Mass, we're also going to be doing a review on Midnight Mass, which I think is probably the best thing to come out of 2021. Just media wise, I think it's all around the best thing ever. Spoiler alert, it's great. I love it. It's really good. People who know me know that I'm a sucker for good dialogue and great character development, and it has a ton of that. Not to mention a really cool story behind it too. So yeah, that's what I got going on.
Very cool. Your hiatus should be ending soon.
It should be ending if I can get some of these cameras to work like they did before hiatus, then yeah, I don't know what happened to them. Like I'll figure it out.
Well, good luck, sir.
It's a hardware issue this time. It's always something. It's always something.
Always something. Well, good luck, sir. We hope to see you back on the internet soon.
Yep.
All right. Well, guys, there's not a lot going on the Fake Nerd Podcast channel, but you can still check out the episode. The latest episode went live on Sunday. That was yesterday when we're recording this, where we talked about Ghostbusters Afterlife, the 4th Ghostbusters film, the 4th in canon story. I'm counting the game. Because that game rules. Did you ever play the game?
No, I didn't realize that the 2016 Ghostbusters is still canon with this. I don't think
it is. No, it's not. It's not.
Okay, yeah.
Because I'm counting the game. So 1, 2.
Okay, so
game.
Got it.
Afterlife.
Okay.
Yeah. No, the 16 film is a complete remake.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So okay. So we talked about Ghostbusters Afterlife. That's live right now. You can check that out on all of our platforms. Audio and video on this channel. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to this channel. You can check out some of the back catalog of Animation Station, of Fake Nerd Book Club, of Basement Arcade Pause Menu, and of course, Fake Nerds Watch. If you want to get ready for Hawkeye, you can check out some of our other Fake Nerds Watch story shows that we've done, where we talked about the other Marvel shows that Disney Plus put out this year. Some we've loved, some we've liked, some we've hated. So, check all that out. That's it. This coming week, we're skipping because it's the Thanksgiving holiday.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving. And after that, we'll be coming back with 3 Spider-Man episodes. So we're going to be talking about one episode. We'll have the Sam Raimi, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man films, then the Andrew Garfield, Marc Webb films, and then a review of Spider-Man No Way Home, and then we'll be done for the year. A lot of stuff.
A lot of Spider-Man.
A lot of Spider-Man. But hopefully it's all good Spider-Man. Well, maybe Spider-Man 2.
Who knows?
I'm hopeful for No Way Home, though. I'm hopeful. Got my childlike wonder eyes.
Yeah.
All right. That'll do it. Of course, you can find all the Fake Nerd Podcast stuff, fakenerdpodcast.com, on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, Fake Nerd Podcast. I'm a BT McClure on Instagram and Twitter. Mike, where can I find you?
At Downright Nerdy Podcast on Instagram, and same on YouTube.
All right. I'm pretty sure I plugged everything. So until next time you see us, live long and prosper.